Welcome back to Zeerust and round 2 of the Africa Off-Road Championship Racing Series, brought to you by N1 4x4, your Toyota and Land Cruiser four-wheel drive experts, in association with Pirelli Tyres. And Tyres and Mud was going to be the talk of the town pre-race. We went down to the pits.
Hi, my name is Kobus Fourie. My navigator is my wife Marinda from Team Visitlin and AR Racing. And at the moment we've got a Batspec Zero here, and we're just out here to have fun for the day.
Hi, Johnny Walker here. We're at the Zeerust 200, organised by Africa Off-Road Racing and sponsored by N1 4x4 and Pirelli. Looks like it's going to be a tight race, a bit of mud outside, but we're looking forward to it, and best of luck to all the guys.
Hi, I'm Etienne Marks, Bushwalker Off-Road Racing. We're at Zeerust today, and I think it's going to be a nice race, overcast, no dust. Thanks to all the sponsors over here, and good luck to all the others.
I'm Johnny Walker. This used to be my car, very nice. I sold it to Etienne Marks. It's a single seater. I think he will be a good competitor.
My name is Jaco Estreisen. We're from Rustenburg, and I just want to thank Africa Off-Road for the opportunity to race here at Zeerust with them. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Johan Basson from Rustenburg. I just want to say thank you for Africa Off-Road Racing to race by them. Yeah, we had Zeerust 200 today. I hope it's going to be better than the previous races before.
My name is Julio from Botswana. I brought in my brother to come and join us for this event. I hope he's got a good skills on him as well to show it to me, or I'm going to show it to him.
Okay, my name is Lito, all the way from Botswana with Julio. I want to show my younger brother here that, we can do it much better than what others will do. We'll try our best, isn't it?
I'm trying this year something different in a series which is growing, and I would like to do well again, like the last race, but a lot of it is luck as well.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Wolf-Peter Fumfai did an incredible job at the opening round at Hartbeesfontein, and he walked away with the class win, just showing how much talent and skill he is bringing into an event like this. Everyone was there in the opening ceremony to get their trophies from the previous event, and once again we did see good numbers at round number 2 here at Zeerust, but everyone was dreading the mud, and new tyres was the order of the day if you could afford it, and a little bit of extra suspension checkup to make sure that you could find that traction where there was none. Starting things out on the landing strip though meant it was going to be all out power wars, shredding those Pirelli tyres to try and get the hookup coming off the line. Based on his incredible drive at round number 1, Wolf-Peter Fumfai was going to be first wheel opening up the track. Single seater, an incredible drive showing the class of the man who literally builds that car from the ground up and just loves driving and working on it himself. A couple of new pairings coming into this race as well. Johnny Walker, and this time Dwayne McGregor, doing the note taking or note shouting in the B1, and the B category once again giving us the biggest lineup of drivers through all the categories. Willy Fallman and Cornelius Niemann in the F2, one of the older category of bakkies, seeing if they could get the job done as well. A lot of work goes into this car, don't be fooled by the look of it. They prep this car to the maximum. It may be one of the older cars out there, but can still run the numbers. Johan Basson in the B11, he'd be looking to see if he could close things down on a top 3, but with some incredibly strong drivers in the lineup. Class B was going to be the hardest race to win. If anyone had the best chance, to be honest, it was going to be Wolf-Peter Fumfai. Even though he had to open up the track as first wheel, he would have clear air, no dust or mud to go up into the visor. Brendan Martin would have a very different story to tell at the end of his opening race. Colleen Croshaw and Sifi van Skalkwijk in the B101, the first of the Class B side-by-sides, in other words, navigator and drivers. They would chase down on Johnny Walker and Dwayne McGregor. After that, Tion Prinsloo and Dion de Kock, third of the pairings in the Class Bs, dropping all they could power down onto the tarmac before flying onto the dirt. Julio Ferreira, normally Ethan on the notes, this time Hilario gets his chance to make the call. We caught up with these guys in the pits before the race as well, and they were feeling very confident about their chances. But with a new pairing, first lap, first couple of kilometers is going to be about getting comfortable with how you talk and navigate with each other. Naldo Pieterse and Marley de Beer. The G category, the side-by-sides, incredibly exciting over the last couple of seasons. And on a muddy race like this, they may battle for traction with the smaller wheels, but we'll have to see how the race turns out for them. Johan Lloyd and Arnold Theron, another one of the 10 entries coming in from the Class Bs. Running those Subaru colors on the side there as well. Jaco and Hendrik Esterhuizen, you heard in their pre-race interview, they've had a little bit of dogged bad luck to start out their racing season. They just want a nice clean run in the B12. They've got the pace though to run inside of the top 3. Louis Weichelt and Henneke Erasmus doing the job in the Toyota Land Cruiser, running in our sponsor's colors from N1 4x4. Marnus Dupree and Francois Bennett this time partnering up to jump into the Colt. It's normally Flip on the wheel, and Francois Bennett, yes, that is the same Francois Bennett that we just saw rocking and rolling but having a rough day behind the bars of his quad. He'll hopefully get rid of that luck as he is on the Navigator notes in the D7 Mitsubishi Colt. Etienne Marks going out there, like we say, Walker selling the car on, and just, he won't want to be beaten by it, but at the same time he'll want to see it run nice and good. Rickers Prinsloo, normally with Leila Lam, this time around it's Dylan de Kock on the seat. Nishal Bana, very, very strong driver, very close to walking away with victories last year in the single-seater in the Class Bs. And then Kurbis and Marinda Ferry. Let's see how clean they're going to be at the end of lap number 1. It's going to be a very different looking vehicle in the P45 after it splashed through all of that mud. Freddie O'Brien and Johan Retief in the B39. Plenty of traction there and long travel suspension. That's going to help them out in the mud box. First mud on the track, around about kilometer 20. So everyone gets themselves loose, gets out flying on the track, and then all of a sudden the track gets tight and gets muddy. Small entry of side-by-sides this time around, so Nelda Petersen and Marley de Beer had really no one to play with, but they were going to be in the mix of production vehicle and specials. Weichelt and Erasmus were doing an incredible job in the N1 4x4 Toyota Land Cruiser. A very popular vehicle in this race format. Check out the high shots that we've got picking up on this car to show you the racing format and what it looks like above when we go Africa off-road racing. All eyes are going to be on this car, but watch out after the break and we'll see how everyone does as we bang off the kilometers and head out into the next laps.
On this episode, My Ride Rules gets deep fried in Georgia.
Yes! Ah! Darn, that feels good.
Punch buggy! Punch buggy!
What are you doing to me?
Spanky!
Yeah.
Okay.
We're back in Zeerust to pick up on the action from round number 2 of the Africa Off-Road Championship Racing Series, brought to you by N1 4x4, your Toyota and Land Cruiser 4-wheel drive specialists, along with Pirelli. Johnny Walker and Dwayne McGregor, one of the early teams to reach the big mud box and just tippy-toe their way through. Completely different approach for Velman as he just smashes his way into it. Johan Besson, remember, no windscreen on these single-seater open vehicles, so that visor is going to be absolutely roosted. Wolf Peter Fumfai, our first wheel out, been overtaken by a couple of cars now sits third, but tippy-toeing through the mud in an open vehicle like that, probably the best call. Croshaw, absolutely covered there as they splash their way through. Tian Prinsloo and Dion de Kock, and the side-by-side of Petersen and De Beer, they would be the winners in Class G, but they were really starting to make their way up in the overalls. Weichelt and Erasmus in the N1 4x4 vehicle were doing a great job as well. And Julio and Hilario were figuring out how to be partners out on the track as they also got closed down by Esterhuizen. Rickers Prinsloo and Dylan de Kock. Now this pairing, and I know particularly Rickers, does love racing in the mud, so he'll just be enjoying it, completely having a jaw. Weichelt and Erasmus in the D44. They'd be looking to climb their way up there and were definitely on for a top 2 placing in the production Class Ds. They had a huge pit setup going on down in the pit village on the landing strip. And after a little bit of splash and dash and some repair work on the vehicle, they were back out there on track. Remember, these guys were on for a predicted 5 laps of racing today. Rock solid setup from the guys from N1 4x4. And hopefully they were just having an absolute jaw in their cruiser. Billy Feldman and Cornelius Niemann, they came in the F2 vehicle. They were the only F vehicle entered, but they'd be looking to see what they could do in the overalls with no one else to play with. Out there onto the next lap and around the side of the dam. One of our spectators almost getting involved in the race just for a second. Huge spectator value around the side of the dam as well, so that's where everyone was hanging out and lighting the braais. Jaco Esterhuizen, he'd had a terrible run of luck at the end of last season, beginning of this season, but this time around he was absolutely flying and would eventually climb himself up into 3rd place overall. Julio and Hilario in the P1, they were still finding out what they could do, but also on for a top 3 placing in their Class P category. Freddie O'Brien and Johan Retief just following the markers and unfortunately not having that full steering lock that a lot of production vehicles do. But still, they would get themselves into a position to try and maintain their finish inside of the top 10. Rickers Prinsloo and Dylan de Klerk had set their car up predominantly for the mud, so when it got into the loose stuff, the car was very, very soft in the running, and they were battling to keep traction and forward momentum going. Nonetheless, the P30 was on for a win in the Class Ps. Very strong drive coming out of Prinsloo and de Kock. And exciting as well. Everyone said that was one of the most spectacular drivers out on course. Monis Dupree and Francois Bennett had made friends out there on the track in the Colt and were doing a nice job to try and walk away with the Class D win. Weishalt and Erasmus in the D44 were chasing them down, but would have to settle for a 2nd place finish, on average running around about 10 to 12 minutes slower per lap in the Class D, according to their competition. Into the pits, everyone had their story to tell. Thorns and rocks were starting to come into play as the track started to chew itself up. The Ferreiras were first to get bitten. Kubis and Marinda Ferri in the P44 were now on a charge and had got themselves up into 2nd place, getting around the slowing Ferreira with their flat tyre. Nishal Bonner in the B20 on just outside of the podium on a predicted 4th place finish. Fourth place is where he stayed. The one and only side-by-side, that of Nalda Petersen and Marley de Beer in the G97. They did a good run of it as well, and their lap time showed they were really on point. They didn't make it out for 5 laps of racing. 4 laps was enough, though, to obviously give them the category win with no one else to play with. Johnny Walker and Dwayne McGregor had done a great drive this time around. They weren't going to be able to beat out the flying Wolf-Peter Fumfai, but it was going to be a strong 2nd place drive and not too far off the experienced Fumfai's pace. So coming into the closing stages, the story was all about everyone bringing it home. The last lap was really a charge and a sprint. Prinsloo came home to bag his win in the Class Ps alongside Dylan de Klerk, but Wolf-Peter Fumfai, the giant killer from round number 1, incredibly did it all over again and walked away with a Class B win over some tasty drivers. In the end, it was Fumfai beating out on Johnny Walker and McGregor. And the time gap come the end of play after 5 laps of racing, nearly half an hour. Experience does count for something. Monis Dupree and Francois Bennett made it home as well. They got their class win in the Class Ds. And once again, the Mitsubishi Colt, this time Flip, had to watch from the sidelines as everyone else was having the fun. Billy Feldman and Cornelius Niemann walked away with the F category win. And confirmation of Johnny Walker coming home in the 2 spot for the Bs. Here's the breakdown then. Wolf-Peter Fumfai walks away with the win ahead of Walker and McGregor, and Jaco and Hendrik Esterhuizen in the extremely tight battle for Class B honours. Class C was all about Carleen Croshaw and Sifi van Skalkwijk, and in Class Ps, Rickers Prinsloo and Dylan de Kock did the big job, getting one over on Kubis and Marinda Ferri, with Julio and Hilario getting 3rd place. Class D was all about Marnus de Pree and Francois Bennett. Much better day at the office for those guys. Class F, Feldman and Niemann, and Class G, Petersen and de Beer. And after an incredible round number 2 of championship racing action down here at Zeerust, the faces in the pits look decidedly different than they did in the morning.
Hi guys, it was a fantastic route. It was difficult, tough, hard on the shoulders. We had a little bit of overheating problems. Our fans quit. A little bit of wiring issues, but we managed to keep it together with a couple of bottles of water. Great, thanks Flip, it was awesome.
Oh hell, what a fantastic day here at Windsor today. Like we did 5 laps of about 35 k's, went very well. We absolutely had no problems along the way. Quite rough, quite a bit of mud along the way, quite slippy, but thoroughly enjoyed it.
Naldo Petersen and Marley de Beer got their first category win of the 2018 season out of the way, and they brought it home nice and clean.
Okay, yeah, I just want to thank Flip and Bertha for a very nice race, very well marked, lots of tights. It was really a good race.
Well, it was a hell of a nice race, tight, tough, but very nice. Marking was excellent. And I'd like to thank my girlfriend for the last 40 years that I still can go racing. Thanks very much.
Hello, I'm Marnus de Pree. This is my co-pilot, Francois Bennett, joining me for the first time. Yeah, it's my first race that I finished, and yeah, had an awesome experience. Thank you.
Hello, Johnny Walker here from Rustenburg, Bushwalker Racing. With me is Dwayne McGregor. We had a great race, a great, tough, technical, tight route, lots of rocks, tight turns, but it was well marked. We enjoyed it very much. We had some trouble with the car. A couple of times came to a standstill with the fuel filter problems, but we got it going again and finally we finished.
Thank you very much for Africa Off-Road Racing for this very nice race on Zeerust again. A bit very technical. We had a bit of problems on the route, but it was quite nice. And a very thanks to my navigator Cornelius. Spot on again as the previous race. We went good. We struggled a bit, but everything went nice.
Yeah, it was a good day. Good to be back after 5 years of not racing. The diesel went very well, so we're very happy about that. Had a few overheating issues. It's great to be part of something like this again, where Pirelli and ourselves have tried to make it a little bit better this year. And yeah, looking forward to a season with the African Off-Road and Pirelli series. So we'll see you guys at the next one.
And the next event on the calendar is the 17th of March at Corlini from N1 4x4 in association with Pirelli. We'll see you there.